Okay, so right now I'm going to be talking about implementing a test program. So I have a class and I just want to test that class. I have a concept in my head. I want to test that concept. So you see that, for example, a manufacturing want to send a space shuttle to somewhere, or JPL want to create a rover for the Mars. So before they send it to the Mars, they have to test some concept to be sure it's working before they send it out. So for us, we're going to be using our classes, create some object, and we're going to test those objects. So this is what we're doing right now. We are not writing the whole program here. We just want to test our object. So if I write a class and I'm going to give it to people to use it, I want to be sure that's working before I give it to other people. So we're talking about test program. So for the test program, we're going to be creating a class, and then we inside the class is going to have a main, just like your main program. So we have classes in Java, classes all over the place, and then there is only going to be one that's called main method inside one of these classes. Only one of them is going to have it. We talk more about it, but we're going to have the main in there. Next one is inside the main, we're going to construct objects. So if I want to use the object, I'm going to be testing all my public interfaces with this object. So if I give you this class to use and you don't know anything about inside the class, all you know is the methods available to you to use my class. Now, I want to be sure it's working before I give it to you. So I'm going to be constructing the object first. Remember, I cannot use the class. I have to create an object of a class before I use it. So I've got to construct an object, or two or three or whatever we need. Then we're going to apply the methods. So I'm going to be checking every method to be sure they're all working. And then we can display the result, or what we expected and what is coming out. So we're going to start simple, and then we build on top of that. That's for the testing. This is a test program. This is not the whole program. So in real life, what's going to happen is each group, each area, they're going to be building some classes, and then we give it all together to create the whole program. Not all of us going to be working on the main program. We're just going to be creating the small pieces called classes, and then somebody's going to put it, some group is going to put it together and create the whole project. So we want to be sure that these are good before we send it up. All right, so right now, at this time, we are not creating our own classes. So we are going to be using the classes that's already there. So we are not creating our own classes. We will do that later. We are just going to be using it. So your book is talking about this rectangular class that, if you have read or watched the video, the rectangular class has 4 elements on it: the X, Y of the left top corner, the width and the height. 4 elements for data. So each class has a data and has methods. So this rectangular class is going to have 4 parameters. So remember, when I call the rectangular, this is called what? When I use the word new, this is
Constructor.
what? Constructor. So the constructor can have parameter, or it can have empty. It can be empty. So in this case, it's going to have 4 parameters: X, Y, the XY of the top left corner, the width, and the height. Those are the 4 we're going to put it in there. Now, this object is going to return an address to that object. Now it does exist in the memory. We're going to put it inside this box, which is the type of this class called rectangle. So my box is the same type of rectangle. And now this box has 4 data in it. That's going to be 5, 10, 20, and 30. Then what we're going to do, we're going to call one of the functions in there. So we are testing the translate. Do you remember what the translate does?
It moves it.
It moves it by this much. So it's going to move my X by 15. It's going to move my Y by 10. That means what? If I do that, my new X is going to be what?
20.
20. And my new Y is going to be
35.
35. So we're going to test those to be sure this translate is working. So how do I do it? There is a function. Remember, most of the graphic or other functions out there, they call it getter and setter. So we have something called get X, get Y, get width, get height, and then we have the set X, set Y, if you want to do it individually. So we are just checking the X. We're expecting to be 15 plus 5, 20, and we want to check it to be sure it's 20. So that's my test program. Okay, so this is my test program. First thing first, if I want to create a new rectangular, I have to have the class for rectangular. Because I'm not writing it, I'm going to bring it from somewhere. I'm going to use the import to bring it from the library that when I download my compiler, the libraries comes with it. So the word rectangular belongs to the art, which belongs to Java. So we're going deep to level. Now, something that the book doesn't specify, and some other books have used it. When I start learning Java, that's the way we were doing it. Instead of saying rectangular, you could just say java.art.star. It would bring all the classes that belongs to that. This is called package. We talk about the packaging. So inside the art, there is a lot more than just the rectangle. If I put a star, it's going to bring all of them. So I am bringing more stuff to my program than I need, but it is doable. In here, we just say, you know what, we need just the rectangular class. We're just going to bring the rectangular class. So that's the way we're going to bring it in. We call the class move tester, uppercase to start with the name, and it has to have some meaningful name. Then, of course, we're going to have a main with the arguments. We're going to talk about that later. So first thing first, I'm going to create a. So I'm going to create a rectangular with these numbers in it. And then I'm going to do the translate. And then I'm going to do my printing. So this is my test program. You've got to remember this because your assignment and the lab, I think it's going to use this, or at least some ideas like this. Questions on that one? So one of the things that I'm going to be asking you guys to do is, let me move this one out of here. So when you submit your assignment, all I need at this time is your .java. I don't need the whole project. So we're just going to submit the .java file, which is the one in this case with the test, the move tester file. So the .java one, at the bottom of your program, you're going to put the comment. Remember, the comment for the block is going to be forward slash star, and then star forward slash. So what we're going to do is at the end of this, we're going to put forward slash star and star forward slash, and then we're going to copy and paste our dialog box in there. So that way, when you submit your program, it's going to have a sample run as part of it. So That's what we got to do whenever you submit the program. So you go to the assignment, you submit your .java plus be sure you run and you put the comments in there. Questions? All right, I have a couple of these right here. We can quickly go over them. So suppose we had a call box.translate 2515 instead of box translate 1525. So I put the wrong number. What's going to happen? So if I put the wrong number, what's going to happen? Second point for why. Most of you should know this with working with the function. Why doesn't the move tester program print the width and the height of the rectangle? So when I create a tester, the purpose of the tester is what? To check certain things. In this tester, I am checking the translate method. So would we want to print width and height if I'm testing my translate?
Not really. We don't need to know that.